Hi, this is Katie. In today's video, I want to talk about how to stay warm if you're going to be living or sleeping in your car in the winter. So I do these videos about once a year, but in this video, I actually do have a couple like brand new things that I would recommend to do. A lot of you guys know that I've been living in this car on and off for the past 10 years, traveling around the country. And I'm not living in my car right now, but a lot of my travels have been me driving around the country and sleeping in my car. And so obviously some of that just happened to be when it's really cold out. And so I do have some tips and some strategies on how to stay warm if you're going to be sleeping in your car when it's cold. And some of these strategies also can help with camping or just kind of like existing and road tripping when it's going to be cold out. And so yeah, if you're interested in this video about how to stay warm if you're going to be on a road trip or sleeping in your car, I really hope that you're subscribed and I hope that you keep watching. So a little disclaimer, tiny little disclaimer. If you personally think that it is too cold to sleep in your car, like it is unsafe, please see if you have another option for the night, or even if you can maybe drive somewhere warmer for a couple months or something, because there is a level where it does get dangerous. But what I'm going to talk about is just what has made me feel warmer and comfortable and safe in lower temperatures, you know, like high 20s and then 30s and 40s. And so again, if it seems unsafe, please don't do it. But I'm still just going to give you guys some tips if you're kind of cold in your car. So anyway, disclaimer over. So let's just get into the video of some tips about how to stay warm. Number one is a brand new thing. I literally just got this the other day. If you guys can tell, I got a new coat. This is from the brand Venustus, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video and for sending me this coat to try out. You guys, this is a heated coat. Heated. It literally heats up. There's a battery pack that fits right here in this little pocket. You just plug it in and then you press this little button, it lights up a little bit, and then within a couple minutes, the front, the back, and the neck start to heat up. It's incredible. Battery pack can double as a phone charger, and there's low, medium, and high settings depending on what would work for you. And on the medium setting, the heat will last 6 to 7 hours on a full battery. Isn't that incredible? So I just think this is like a genius idea. Obviously, if you're gonna be sleeping in your car, it might be something that you wanna cuddle up with at night. But obviously, even if you're just existing outside in the winter and you get really cold, yes, this is a very cute coat. It's gonna keep you warm regardless because it's like a nice puffer coat, but also it has the heating elements. I can already start to feel it warming up. It is so nice, so warm, so cozy. I think it is a genius idea. And they are doing like their Amazon deal right now. And so if you want to check my description for a link, seriously, I would highly recommend this. I think it's an incredible idea for traveling, for living in a house, if you're gonna be walking your dog, if you're gonna be sleeping in your car, literally whatever. If you want to stay warm, go check this out and consider getting one of these. This one has a hood. This is the coat. They have a couple different styles of jackets, coats, vests. I do plan on going on some little road trips and hiking and stuff this winter. And so this is gonna keep me warm when I'm outside too. But if I'm gonna be sleeping in my car, this would be such a nice thing to have like bundled up and cuddled up with you at night. But anyway, I do want to thank Venustus for sponsoring this video, and please check out the link in my description. I honestly am just going to keep this coat on because underneath I only have a tank top and it is actually a little cold out. So the other things that I have to mention on how to stay warm, a lot of them might seem like common sense, right? I know that. However, sometimes what's common sense is the best thing for us anyway. And sometimes we don't always think about things even if they might seem common sense. So number one, if you're going to be sleeping in your car in the cold, I do not recommend sleeping with the car on. I just really don't. And so what I would do if I'm about to go drive somewhere and I know that it's going to be 35 degrees overnight, I am going to put my heat on full blast while I am driving to the place that I'm going to be sleeping at, and just kind of warm up your car. And then even keep your car on while you're covering your windows, while you're getting changed, all that kind of stuff. But if you're specifically in a car, an SUV, a truck, just like a regular type of vehicle that's not decked out, I would not recommend leaving it on. Obviously, if you have like an RV or a renovated van, you might have like a heating system, but I'm specifically talking about just like a regular car. I do not recommend leaving your car on overnight while you're sleeping, but definitely have the heat on while you're driving to your destination. And then even just keep it on while you're changing, while you're covering your windows, stuff like that. And in the middle of the night, I have had to do this a few times. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I will wake up, turn my car on for 5 or 10 minutes, and then shut it off again before I fall asleep. I can literally feel like the heated coils, and it's so nice on this jacket. Anyway, so another thing to do before you park, besides blasting your heat, one more thing to do before you park is make sure that whatever you're wearing to bed, you have like out in the heat. Don't keep it packed away in your trunk where it's probably still gonna be cold. Take it out, just like leave it out near you because it will just warm up because you have the heat on. But also make sure that you actually do change from your daytime clothes, because especially in the winter, I notice that I still sweat in the winter, obviously, because I might have more layers on. So my body is still gonna sweat. And if you sweat and then you keep those clothes on even overnight, it's not gonna be the best in terms of keeping you warm, because even if they do dry, it's still just not the best option. And so keep your pajamas out or whatever you're gonna be wearing and keep them out so they do kind of get to at least room temperature or warm up, and just make sure that you do change into a like clean, dry set of clothing before you go to sleep. Another thing, again, might be really common sense, but layer up as much as possible. I honestly, my body runs pretty warm. So I do run a little bit warmer than the average person. I still do get really cold sometimes, but my car is pretty decently insulated. So even my car, when it's 35 degrees outside, my car does not really feel like 35 degrees. I think it just is pretty decent at holding in a little bit of heat, just a little bit of heat. And also just my body holds a little bit of extra heat. And so while I do definitely get cold, I do not personally layer up as much as I would recommend to the average person, just because my body does run a little bit warm. But if you really need to keep warm, layer up as much as possible. Get a base layer, get some like thermal underwear, and then just layer, layer, layer. I personally will just really usually wear like one pair of sweatpants, and then I will wear really thick socks. Here, I have them right here. I have a 3-pack of these. I literally got them as a gift last summer from one of my friends in Montana. I was in Montana throughout the fall until like mid-November. And so it did get pretty cold at night. I wore these basically every single night while I was sleeping in my car. Game changer, obviously, to have your extremities covered if you can. So thick socks, pants, and again, if you need to, thermals, then pants. But for me, I kind of go thick socks, a pair of sweatpants, and then like a t-shirt and a hoodie, and then maybe like a jacket or something like that. But even on the top, you might want to get like a thermal undershirt and then put a sweatshirt over it and then put a coat over it. This I might wear even if I don't leave the battery on overnight, because I might not want to do that. Still, just having like a really nice coat would be a game changer overnight as well. And then obviously you can wear some gloves. I have these. Did you guys know? Okay, I have not bought gloves in years, but I went to like Marshall's the other day or something to buy some gloves because I'm going to be in the Northeast for the winter and it gets cold here. And gloves nowadays clip together. Is that like a brand new thing? Because I don't think I've ever seen that before, but they clip together. That's genius. Anyway, get some gloves, wear these, wear something on your head, wear something especially that covers your neck. That's one of the things I love about this jacket is the heating coils are in the front, the back, and in the neck. And I feel like that's like a super game changer when it comes to like heating yourself up. And so I do recommend having something covering your neck and something on your head. So if you have a hood, if you have a beanie, something on the top of your head. And again, make sure that all that is dry and clean and has been like left out with the heat so that it might have warmed up a little bit. The next thing I'm going to talk about is like blankets, right? So for me, honestly, I just use 2 regular blankets. That's really all I've ever used. But if you need more warmth than that, which you probably will, I would recommend a low degree sleeping bag. I have talked about my Kelty Cosmic 0 degree sleeping bag a million times. I don't think that they make this one anymore, but I will link something similar below. I do recommend a 0 degree sleeping bag because it will keep you alive in 0 degrees, which is really helpful, right? But also it'll keep you warm above like 30 degrees or so. And it's going to be a little bit different in the car because when you're camping in this, you do have it zipped properly. And so that's when like the 30 degrees or the 0 degrees or whatever actually makes sense. But if you're just going to open it up and throw it over yourself as like a blanket, it's not going to be as warm because you're not like totally insulated inside of it, but it is still going to help a lot for sure. I have a mummy sleeping bag. You can even just get a regular sleeping bag that kind of like opens up all the way, but just the lowest degree that you can possibly get, the better, because it will just keep you a lot warmer. And one thing that I do personally, I'm not going to say I would recommend it because it could seem a little dangerous if you do it incorrectly. But one thing that I do is I take my blankets and I put them over my head. And I've read some things online that say, oh, if you're camping and it's cold, don't put your face in the sleeping bag because when you breathe, it'll be condensation and it'll even get colder. But for me, what I've noticed, I'm not completely covering all of my head where I can't breathe. That would be ridiculous. Please do not do that. But I will cover most of my head and just leave like a little air vent. So when I am breathing, the cold air from my breath is still going to go out, but it's just something, especially when you're in the car, even if it's not windy, even if your windows are shut, everything like that, there is still some chill that might get in, right? Because our cars are not really airtight. And so there might still be some chill that gets in. And I just noticed if I cover my face just a little bit, again, do not do it super tight. Just if I cover my face a little bit, make sure that there's still space to breathe. It just does really help me a lot. That is one of the things that helps me the most, is covering my face with a blanket. But please do it safely, please, 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 please. So a couple of the things that I do recommend are having things like this in the car. So these are hot hands. These are specifically the toe warmers, but they have a ton of different like styles and shapes and sizes of these. And these are just like one-time use. You open this and within 15 minutes or so, this starts to heat up and you can put it on your sock, on your hands, on your shirt, wherever, again, depending on which one you get. However, please, with these, please read the directions, because some of these you can put directly on your skin and some you cannot. And the ones that you cannot, if you do put those on your skin, you can get burned. I literally did that once. I don't remember if I just didn't read the directions or if I was just like, oh, whatever, who cares? I don't remember because it was a few years ago. But one of these that did say, do not put directly on your skin, I did, and I burned I think it was like my shoulder or my back or something. So please read the directions, because some of them, they'll just say put on top of your sock or over your shirt. You will still feel the heat from it, but just please be safe with that, because I did burn myself once, and so you don't want to do that. Again, these are just like one-time use ones, but I think it's still good to have a couple of these in the car. But also they have rechargeable ones like on Amazon or whatever. And so I have this one to show you guys. You can just charge it by USB, and then you just turn this on and it just warms up. And so again, you can hold on to this, you can put it on your neck, you can put it on like your stomach, your back, your feet, wherever, whatever kind of helps you stay the warmest. And so rechargeable one, the throwaway ones would be good. Also, you could even get like a microwavable heat pack and just go somewhere that has a microwave, like a truck stop, and just heat it up for a little bit right before you go to sleep. A lot of truck stops have microwaves, and so that could be an option as well. And just, again, put that wherever you feel like it would help you the most. And another thing that's really good to keep warm at night is to make sure that you have like a full belly. I do not personally like to eat too much or drink too much within a couple hours of going to sleep. A, because I have some acid reflux issues and going to sleep right after you eat is not great for that. But also B, I don't usually, when I'm sleeping in my car, I don't usually like to drink a lot of liquids within a few hours of sleeping, because I would like to lessen the chance of me having to use the restroom in the middle of the night. It's not a really big deal if I do have to use the restroom, but I would just like to minimize it if possible. But eating something warm, drinking something warm, and just making sure that you do have some food in your body is going to help a little bit in terms of keeping warm at night. Also, another good thing, even if you're not going to drink a lot of it, getting a warm cup of water, a hot cup of tea, again from a gas station or something like that, and you can either take a few sips of it to kind of warm up, you know, like your esophagus and your stomach, or you can even just hold it. You can really just make sure that it's like secured. You can just hold it and warm up your hands or put it on your legs or whatever. And another good thing could be if you have an insulated water bottle and put some really hot water in there and just kind of use that as like another type of a heat pack, and or to take some sips of, be careful if it's too hot, don't take sips. But if it's really, really, really warm, you can take a few sips and just kind of warm up your body that way. And I do know that like heated blankets exist that you plug into your cigarette lighter and you can use those. I personally probably wouldn't use one of those because, again, I don't like to leave my car on, and my cigarette lighter needs the car to be on to work. I don't like to leave my car on overnight, and so I probably wouldn't use one of those. But if that's something that you might like to use, or even if you might use it for a little bit right before you go to sleep, before you shut your car off, that could be helpful as well. But with things like that, please like take caution with that kind of stuff, because those could potentially be a little bit of like a hazard. But so something like this, that's more like an external battery, you might feel safe sleeping in this overnight, or you just might be like, you know what, I'm gonna turn the heater part on and then I'm gonna wear it for a while, and then right before I go to sleep, I'm gonna unplug the battery. So it just depends what you feel safe with, and do your research and stuff on things that either have batteries or that you have to plug into your cigarette lighter. Just do a little bit of research before you fall asleep with those things. But yeah, I think those are all my tips about keeping warm if you're gonna be sleeping in your car this winter. And obviously a lot of those tips can be helpful even if you're not sleeping in your car, but you might be going on a road trip or hiking or something like that. A coat like this is a genius idea. And obviously thermals, really thick socks, gloves, covering your neck and your head. And even if you're going on a hike, just having like a hot thermos with you could really be helpful. And so I just hope that this video gave you some ideas and was helpful. If you have any other ideas, please let us know in the comments, because I would love to read them, and I'm sure you guys would love to read them as well. I love when we can all share ideas together. And yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. I really hope that you are subscribed, and I hope that you're following me on Instagram as well. And again, I do want to thank Venustis for sponsoring this video. Please check out the link in my description for this coat, and they also have like vests and jackets and stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.